And then Geno Smith started to mix in some passes, and at that point, it's all Seattle. Really a tremendous second half for this football team.
They will celebrate this win tonight, hit the road next weekend, go out to Foxborough. They've got some tough games on that early season slate. But Mike Macdonald all smiles down on that Seattle sideline. Meantime, we will see the Broncos in Denver next week in a potential clash with their old buddy Russell Wilson. We'll see if Russ is ready to come back from that calf injury. What a crazy opening day matchup here in Seattle as the Seahawks win it 26-20 to get the Mike Macdonald era off with a Week 1 win. Final line on Bo Nix, 27-43, only a $135 arch, the 2 picks. And a lot to think about for him on that flight home to Denver.
Yeah, certainly you don't want your rookie quarterback taking 43 passes here on the road, but they have a lot to learn from, and we'll see him next week.
Up and get after it. So they've carried that same structure each time, and they've had a lot of success. I don't think any other West Coast team is above 500 traveling to Easton playing at 1 o'clock, right?
And Mike Macdonald.
Runner short of the line to gain stands. Second down.
Mike Macdonald and the Seahawks traveled east on Friday. Here comes Myers for the win. Myers from 31 yards out. Dixon places it down. And the Seattle Seahawks go to 2-0. Under their rookie head coach, Mike Macdonald, they defeat Gerard Mayo and the New England Patriots in overtime by the score of 23-20.
Metcalf 4 for 104. Smith and Jigba had 3 for 39. Geno Smith 26 of 34 for 289. And Charbonnet 2 rushing touchdowns and 91 yards on the ground. That's a pretty good day against a Miami team that had to go across country without their starting quarterback.
Yes.
First time on the road for them this season, and a lot to
well, they have a lot.
unpack.
They have a lot they have to answer here coming up before facing Tennessee on Monday night, because what's the health of Skylar Thompson? Is Boyle or Huntley going to be your guy moving forward? Defense didn't play bad. They were just on the field all day, and Seattle on the other side of things is looking really good. Their Mike Macdonald's defense, he's got his defense cranked up, and Geno Smith is playing as good as ever.
Miami will fall to 1-2, and again we have no word on Skylar Thompson.
I'll give you one on those lines. Jared Goff has more touchdown catches in this game than incompletions. 1 touchdown catch.
What a game.
No incompletions, and the quarterback play tonight was sensational.
Yeah, and as a former quarterback, I really enjoyed watching both these guys. Jared Goff was fantastic. Geno Smith with a lot of pressure. Talked about the bye that Detroit is going to have. Normally you don't like it coming up this soon in week 5, but for this team, they're pretty banged up. I think it comes at a good time for them. And you know, Mike Macdonald's building something. In this second half, he's not going to be happy with the way the defense played overall, but they'll grow from this. And I thought they had a good showing, and they're 3-1 and still alive and well.
Yeah, both teams are going to walk out of here 3-1. Goff 18 of 18, 292, 2 touchdowns, a touchdown catch, and a career high passer rating of 155.8. Geno Smith, all career highs, 37 of 53, 374. But in the end, the Lions get the win, and they snap a 6-game losing streak head-to-head to the Seattle Seahawks, and a lot of respect between Geno and Jared.
If Jared Goff doesn't have a perfect quarterback rating, what does it take? Tonight was about as perfect as you can get.
It's a really good question, and I wish I had an answer.
Picked up by Bryce Ford Wheaton, and he is going to go! The Giants sideline erupts! Unbelievable!
Isaiah Simmons came across, and Bryce Ford Wheaton, who does not have a touch in his NFL career, picks it up and scores.
Let's take a look at this. He jumps over the center, blocks it. And wow, what a return. We talk about all phases, offense, defense, special teams, making blocks or making contributions to winning games. Gene, I need to know, are you allowed to jump the center?
No, he actually is in that gap, Tiki. I think it's a great play by Simmons. He's right in the A gap. He goes right through. He doesn't use anybody for leverage. He just finds that gap, leaps up, and makes a great play.
Giants have called a timeout before the extra point.
And as Gene is saying that, he's lined up in that gap. So he's on the line of scrimmage, which allows him to do that. I remember being on certain teams, and we would practice this. And this is one where when you see a guy like Isaiah Simmons down in the line of scrimmage, where he's not typically lined up, where he's more of a safety linebacker type of guy, that's where you got to start to communicate to each other. They have this freak athlete down here for a reason. We saw Myles Garrett do the same thing for the Cleveland Browns a year ago. This is just tremendous by Isaiah Simmons to be able to get. The hard thing is you jump over, but you have to get your feet down and get back up in the air fast enough before they're able to get that kick up.
Yeah, kids do plyos up and down, up and down. But Laken Tomlinson was the reason he was able to do so. Laken Tomlinson, who's playing right guard on the field goal team, dives down into the ground.
Giants are now just going to take a knee.
They're taking a knee because
they don't want the Seahawks to go the other way.
If they block the field goal and go the other way, it's 2. If they go for 2, an interception, it's 2 the other way. So you have a 9-point lead, which is a 2-possession game. And with 55 seconds left, it essentially kills the game for them.
Well, I hate to bring it up, to throw cold water on it, because it was an incredible play, but really the Giants should not have scored there.
Right.
They should have gone down, which is what Devin Singletary did in the Cleveland win. Bryce Ford Wheaton wasn't thinking that way.
Yeah, but how hard is it to tell him, hey, you know what, don't score right there?
Singletary's like, I'll get other chances to get in the end zone. Ford Wheaton's like, this might be my only chance at the touchdown. I'll go ahead and take the 6. But to your point, Andrew, yes, we used to talk about it as downtime, where you know if you make a play, we go down because time is on our side and we can run out the clock.
Seahawks have 1 timeout remaining and 55 seconds on the clock. Chenault and Williams back deep, and many Seattle fans have started to head for the exits. Touchback. We will have bonus coverage of the Packers-Rams game coming up here on CBS just inside the 2-minute warning there, with Green Bay up 24-19.
It's a heck of an effort by the New York Giants. This is a team, yes, they had 10 days off, but when you're going on those trips from the East Coast to the West Coast, they came in yesterday. It's always hard trying to balance and get your body ready to go for these kickoffs at 125 and being able to come out firing as they did in this game today.
Geno Smith in the shotgun. Pressure's coming. Smith goes to the ground. That's a sack for the Giants. And for the Giants defense, they now have 6 sacks today.
And you see the Seahawks trying to go for it all on one play of mid-Mary. It's not a Hail Mary to the end zone, but just not enough time for Geno to get anything pushed downfield. And DJ Davidson just manning his way into the backfield makes it uncomfortable for Geno. And here you see Simmons getting the celebration from Joe Shane, the general manager.
They're going to give a shout out to the Giants special teams coordinator, Michael Gabriel. His first year with the Giants, spent the last 3 as the Jets assistant special teams coordinator. Huge play by the Giants, and 49 seconds away from their 2nd win of the year. Giants defense with 6 sacks, 9 quarterback hits, and 7 pass breakups. Smith. And that one is caught by Fant, who goes out of bounds just shy of the 30-yard line. Be a quick turnaround for the Seahawks. We mentioned it a short time ago, but they play on Thursday night at home against division rival San Francisco.
Yeah, so it's kind of an unfair week for the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks, really, if you say so, because Monday night and then Sunday and then again on Thursday. It's a lot of football in a short amount of time.
Third down and 11. Burns is coming. Smith steps up. Geno's going to keep it and takes a big hit from Dane Belton. Short of a first down. Seahawks do not have a timeout. Fourth down and 2 for Seattle. Geno and Dexter Lawrence ends it. The 7th sack today by the Giants defense. And what a win by New York.
Dexy, sexy Dexy, the leader of that defensive front. He'll get a special meal from his wife Donna, who's a chef, executive chef. He told us. There'll be a lot of celebrating on the plane back to New York or New Jersey, I should say, for the Giants. This is a huge win for them to come on the road and beat a high-flying Seattle Seahawks team.
And this is a team in the New York Giants who feel like, hey, they were a few calls in that Dallas Cowboys game away from winning. Then they played the Commanders, and your kicker gets hurt on the opening kickoff. And you're probably a field goal kick away from that game. 2 wins now on this season as they came to play and was able to be successful today. And a lot from Daniel Jones in this offense of seeing them start to turn the corner.
An offense without Malik Neighbors and Devin Singletary. Not a lot of people gave the Giants a shot without those two today, but they come away with a commanding 29-20 victory over Seattle.
Well, that's the fear, though, right?
Right.
I mean, with an injury like that, you just, and nobody knows his body better than Christian McCaffrey, the way he takes care of that year-round. So he'll come back when he's ready, and hopefully it'll be this year, and hopefully it'll be during an opportunity for this team to make a stretch run. You just know when the dust settles in the NFC, Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers are still going to be a team you're going to have to deal with despite all the injuries. And now speaking of injuries, we might be dealing with a shoulder there with a kicker.
Oh, boy. Well, he's got 10 days to recover, whatever it is. That is almost picked off and incomplete here. Fred Warner was all the way back there. You know, we saw John Lynch. I mean, what a career this guy had. Tremendous player, Hall of Fame. Went into broadcasting. He was great. Had a chance to come back to San Francisco, take this job with Kyle. They came in 8 years. Well, they've only been to 4 of the last 5 NFC Championship games.
What a marriage, you know, with ownership, GM, head coach. I mean, talk about consistency. I feel like the Chiefs and the 49ers really are the two teams, whether you win the Super Bowl or not, just as far as putting the same kind of product out year after year.
And Fant makes that catch, gets out of bounds. So the Niners, a regal franchise. I mean, great in the 80s and 90s. Bill Walsh, of course, so much a part of that. George Seifert takes over. So good of late.
All those free agents and the late picks.
And lost the ball there, and flag stops the play. It's funny you think about it. We were talking about it at the meeting earlier today as Rolstead will make this call.
Ball start, offense, number 19. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
When you think about the 49ers, 5 Super Bowl wins, but none in 30 years.
It feels like I was shocked when you said that.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're hovering around every year, you know?
Yeah, and they are.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to seal the deal since the 94 season. Meanwhile, finally a sack. First of the game.
Third and final.
And that's the final timeout.
I think it's worth saying because I know all week people talked about, boy, this team, they got to learn how to finish their own fan base, some of their own media was frustrated with the way they played last week and the way they played against the Rams. And I think tonight they were tested. You know, they had a 20-point lead, and here came Seattle back after the kickoff return, a chance to maybe get back in and maybe even take the lead. The missed call on that muff punt didn't allow that to affect them. The crowd going wild. They blew the two big leads that they had, but despite all the injuries, despite all the adversity, they found a way on the road to win in obviously a tough environment in a divisional game.
Media frustrated? Come on, stop the presses. 2nd and 23. Caught. Trying to get out now, out of bounds, and he can't. Clock keeps rolling. 3rd down and long. Green makes the tackle on Fant. 3rd and 8. Down to 20 seconds. Smith's going to spike it, stopping the clock. It'll be 4th down.
Really feel Seattle too with a new coach, new regime, new coordinators, especially on the offensive side. I'm looking forward to seeing where they go from here. You know, making sure they continue to learn. I think this offense has a real chance to be a challenge for anybody they go up against to defend.
Smith rolling, throwing, launching, tipped incomplete. With 11 seconds and 1 kneel down from the 49ers will end this baby. Brock Purdy tonight. You know, it's almost like his personality in a way. 18 to 28, 255. Numbers are good.
3-0.
3 touchdowns. Run it on. Goes along. Oh boy. And there goes Matthew Wright. Thinking, what was I doing? Getting involved in the tackle. Why?
Had a great night other than the tackle.
Right, didn't miss a kick. 3 field goals. Made every extra point. Niners erased that taste from that bitter loss to Arizona.
Should be a great one. Chiefs 49ers coming up next. Here's McClellan. First repeat Super Bowl champions since the Patriots. There's never been a three-peat in the Super Bowl era. As Carissa mentioned, Kyle Shanahan has not beaten Andy Reid. How hard is it for the Niners not to think back to that Super Bowl?
Very hard, especially the way that they lost the game. They had every opportunity to win it. So you think about that as far as motivation going into the game. You don't think about it from the X's and O's, but you know that there's going to be that extra adrenaline to get after it and really want to beat this team.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, Falcons were just awarded Super Bowl 62 in this stadium, 2028. Mike Macdonald returns home to Georgia victorious.
Didn't expect that. A lot of things being around you that I'm seeing for the first time. It's kind of fun.
That's a first for me. I've done a lot of jersey swaps. And I've got some great ones. That's my first mascot jersey swap. In fact, I swapped out a white collared shirt.
Look, here it is.
Jersey swap. There it is. Look at the collared shirt.
It's incredible. Josh Allen and the Bills about to be 6-2, and there it is. Impressive for Sean McDermott in Buffalo. And for Mike Macdonald and the Seahawks fall to 4-4, but still right into the thick of it in the NFC West. But Allen and the Bills, they are feeling pretty good. They win their 3rd in a row. They come to Seattle where Josh Allen plays for the first time, and they crush the Seahawks. That'll officially do it. Clock winds down as Josh Allen all smiles.
Roll them out and get those chunk plays and find yourself in a position to kick the field goal.
Gain of 16 from Stafford to Atwell. From the Seattle 43, here's Williams up the middle, inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. It's a gain of 4. So from this spot, if they did not gain another yard, it would be a 57-yard field goal attempt. There's the rookie Cardi.
I'd imagine Sean McVay stays conservative.
Overtime in Seattle, tied at 20. Second down and 6. Fake to Williams. Stafford fires downfield. It is caught for a touchdown by Robinson. The Rams win it.
Yeah, remember what I said about being conservative, Sean McVay? Yeah, scratch all of that. Sean McVay going for the house call, runs the same rollout boot action that he did prior, and instead he has Demarcus Robinson shoot down the field because there was no safety help. Rick Woolen is chasing, and Matthew Stafford, you can see why he still has got that big arm. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
This is where your pass rush can end games.
Seattle's got to have a touchdown. Smith scans the field and now runs, and Geno Smith with speed, sliding with a first down near the 20. Under 40 seconds, and they use that last timeout.
And Bosa can just,
their third.
all he can do is look on.
Timeout.
Better job here. Kenneth Walker gives a nice chip on Leonard Floyd. Slows down that edge pressure. Again, Abe Lucas, right tackle, playing his first game action in almost a year. I'd imagine these linemen, they're tired. It's a lot of drop back pass. This front's been rushing at you all game. You got to be at your best now. This is when it counts, and they got to continue to give those tackles, both Cross and Lucas, some chip help. You don't want to just allow these defensive ends to just run that edge one-on-one.
.39 seconds, no timeouts, no Bosa.
Got a couple walked up backers here. See if Campbell or Warner ends up being that extra rusher. Geno getting the protection. He brings in his tight end, expecting them to bring 5 or 6.
And they do, for the first time, bring somebody extra. That leaves Smith and Jigba open. Breaks the tackle to Campbell and gets 8. Down to 30 seconds.
Just a really good job there by Geno Smith, seeing the 6-up pressure, getting the extra blocker, and about at 20 seconds now.
Under 20. Smith back to throw. Smith takes off. Geno Smith, end zone ahead. Touchdown Seattle. With 12 seconds, Geno Smith again puts the Seahawks on his back. And Seattle's got the lead. Geno Smith, who's thrown the ball more than any quarterback in the NFL this year. On this drive right here, it's 2 of his runs that prove to be the difference.
Just remarkable. They go 80 yards with the game on the line. It's been a little bit of a struggle the entire game offensively, and then Geno Smith comes through when the moment was its biggest. And I'll tell you what, to overcome that sack, just look how many guys there are in coverage. Just so much depth, and the second he's able to get up and escape the pocket, look at this void, but now everyone's got their backs turned, and Geno just makes a mad dash for that front pylon, and it was all but over.
Now the picture of resilience, the picture of toughness throughout his career, and we mentioned it earlier today, feels like a bit of a microcosm of that. Didn't have anything going in the first half. He throws the bad interception early in the second half. So many times, though, he's been knocked down and left there and stood up and found a way to punch right back.
It's unbelievable. He's giving the old Steph Curry. He knows he's in to land to Steph Curry out here. He gives the night-night. Well, there's still 12 seconds. San Francisco has a timeout. You have to imagine Seattle continues to kick this ball short of the goal line, force the 49ers to return it, try to click off as many seconds as you can off this play clock.
Jake Moody's got a big leg when you're thinking about where they need to get to. In college, he hit one from 59 yards. They need to get close to the 40 for that.
And they do the opposite.
Wow.
You know, my take is that nobody has really generated any sort of kickoff return. So if you kick that short of the goal line, you could burn 3, 4, 5 seconds in the return. And even if they get it to the 30, they only have one play. Here, with 12 seconds and a timeout remaining, if they're really fast, they could probably get 2, 3's probably stretching it.
And you can use the whole field because you have that time.
Correct. So you got to get a chunk play, middle of the field, get down and get that timeout called and live to play one more snap.
So here we go. Purdy throws quickly. Deebo Samuel hit right away. That's an interesting play call.
Well, it was going to be a double pass. He was going to catch it, and he was trying to throw that ball to McCaffrey on a little bit of a wheel on the backside.
San Francisco, their third 30-second timeout.
All right, so now they use the last timeout. So show us what they were trying to do here.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to throw this to McCaffrey. So you can see Samuel, he runs, and now he takes the ball in his right hand. Watch him pull the ball back. He's trying to throw it, but Witherspoon, who's been a force all day, just chops him out.
And Ernest Jones is all over McCaffrey.
Yep. It's just desperation mode right now if you're San Francisco. This
7 seconds, no timeouts. Last hope here for the 49ers. Purdy steps up and throws, has Samuel crossing. Turns around, tosses it back to a lineman with a flag down, and then it's taken away by Seattle and Derek Hall. Yeah, we'll see what the flag is, but it looks like this is going to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be offensive pass interference.
Number 82, that penalties decline. The game.
The Seahawks with a last-minute drive from Geno Smith keep their playoff hopes alive.
Murray off the back foot to Connor. Seattle's perfectly fine with letting them catch and run inbounds and underneath and eat up more and more time off this clock. Arizona will finally use one with 51 seconds left, trying to at least get into field goal range. Cowboys got a big upset today against the Washington Commanders with that wild finish. A couple of special teams touchdowns late in that game, and what was a back-and-forth contest. Daniel Jones released this past week from the Giants. We'll see where he ends up. He can sign with a team after 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. Well, that'll be the Thanksgiving Day matchup. Giants and Cowboys, 4 Eastern on Fox, as part of what I hope is a very enjoyable Thursday for you and yours.
You mentioned Daniel Jones. Based on that game I watched today, I don't know if he was the problem.
They got some issues in New York. 2nd down and 4. Murray. Time ticking away, looking for a downfield shot, and he connects with Michael Wilson, who's had 2 big downfield strikes now today. 24 yards there. 35 seconds. Let's see if they spike it.
That's what you need. You're already in field goal range. You really got to hustle here.
I wonder if you just spike it and kick the field goal. And now Zay Jones is trying to get lined up, and they just burned probably an extra 7 seconds there. Murray waving receivers around, throwing to the end zone, separation, but incomplete for Wilson. That was probably an extra 10 or 12 seconds that you could have saved, even if you didn't kick the field goal there. Now the field goal unit's going to come on after this play where a ton of time came off.
Yeah, I was shocked they didn't spike it. Save that last one. Save your last time out for potentially your next drive if you get it after a made field goal and then an onside kick. Still a long shot, but at least you want to stack your chips and save as much time as possible.
So Ryland has to make this one to make it a 1-score game. From 47, and it's a moot point. It's no good. And welcome to the top of the table for the Seattle Seahawks.
What a change from a couple weeks ago. Bottom of the division, It went from the outhouse to the penthouse, baby.
A rare miss from Ryland, who had missed just one field goal in his Arizona tenure. And the Seattle Seahawks, after the dramatic comeback against San Francisco behind Geno Smith a week ago, and a gutsy defensive effort from the defensive-minded Mike Macdonald, this Seattle Seahawks team, for the moment, sitting in first place in the NFC West.
If they would have thrown the ball there, I would have been really upset. What a finish.
A sixth consecutive victory by the Seahawks over the Arizona Cardinals, the longest win streak in the near 5-decade history of this rivalry.
And you see, that's a loaded front. They got 3 defensive linemen to the offense's left. Play the back with Ernest Jones, man-to-man. Leonard Williams feels right at home in this Jet Stadium. They're showing a 0 look, and that means one-on-one for Job and Adams up top.
Here's your game. Rodgers off the back foot, launches to the end zone. It's incomplete. Seattle takes over on downs, and they're about to win their 3rd consecutive game as Geno Smith with a homecoming, facing his old team for the first time in this building, is going to take a couple knees and lead to a win.
Well, this is just a flat top look. Nobody in the middle of the field. They're bluffing 0, and they're going to pop out some defenders in underneath zone. But Garrett Wilson's running a post. Aaron Rodgers is throwing a go. They're completely on different pages. Not even sure if they're in the same book, same chapter. And Kobe Bryant with a hit on Aaron Rodgers, and that's going to seal the game.
Rodgers still frustrated. Was hoping to put together a run like he did for Green Bay a couple of years ago, but this loss is going to be the 9th for the Jets. It's going to ensure yet another losing season. This will be a 9th consecutive losing year for the Jets. It'll be a 6th consecutive win for Seattle over New York. And for the Seahawks, after the Arizona loss earlier today to Minnesota, Seattle extends their lead at the top of the NFC West with their 3rd consecutive victory.
Seattle doesn't mind. You want to complete one underneath. We make a tackle. You have to run another play.
Under a minute left now. Murray batted in the air. Incomplete. Murray is 23 of 34, 236 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's got 16 yards on the ground.
Who gets this one?
Yep, Williams.
Boy, is he on a roll right now. He's on a heater, isn't he?
He just said
so well right now.
He said it feels like he's playing backyard football. Just so much joy. He said his fiance and his family mentioned it to him recently, that it just feels like you're unbridled in what you're doing out there, and that has been evident watching the games. Murray under a rush, hooks up with McBride for a first down.
And they're using him in all spots up and down the line of scrimmage to find places to let him have an impact on the game, although right now he's getting a chance to watch his teammates and enjoy.
And Owosu got in there. He's back from a torn quad muscle for Seattle. Murray, pitch and catch. It is Connor angling out of bounds. Another first down. Good for 11 yards. We're down to 22 seconds left. So a lot of window dressing right now. Ultimately, it's going to be Seattle advancing to 8-5 on the season, and the Cardinals dropping to 6-7.
If nothing else, can Arizona try and find a way to get Trey McBride a touchdown? How much conversation did we have about that all week? That he's having such a year and has not found the end zone as a receiver this season.
7 catches, 70 yards for McBride. 22 seconds left on the clock. From the Seattle 12. Flag down. Murray out of the pocket. He throws. Incomplete. It bounced off of Zay Jones. Penalty marker. Felt like Seattle was trying to get the edge in the pass rush department.
Offside. Defense number 55. 5-yard penalty. It's 1st and 5.
It's Draymond Jones.
Jonah Williams like, okay, that's quick. I got to get out here and try and block you.
16 seconds left. Murray up in the air, knocked away. Harrison with Job. 12 seconds on the clock.
His development has allowed Mike Macdonald and Adndurde to do more things on the back end with their coverage, where they can play more of those 5 defensive back looks. Because of Job's ability to hold up on the corner, he can move Witherspoon into nickel, where he is devastating. Can blitz, cover, do everything.
Job was a special teams guy with Philadelphia.
Undrafted out of Alabama. He's really jumped his game up.
Final 10 seconds. Murray. Incomplete. He was trying to hit McBride in the end zone. Coverage from Julian Love. 8 seconds on the clock.
And this is such a pride series. Arizona wants to get a touchdown to show that they're still fighting all the way through. Seattle doesn't want to give up a touchdown at this stage. They've had such a masterful day. They want to make sure you don't find a way in. It's a lot of pride on the line here in these last couple of plays.
That's 8 seconds to play. Seattle crowds the line. Murray. He's sacked, and that's it. Seahawks close the door shut. The winning streak is now 4 in a row.
And just thinking about you, praying for you.
Right back at you. You know, Chris, I got a chance to be 6 months ago up in Foxborough when they honored Tom Brady, and they filled the stadium. It was a great night. Randy Moss came out, and before he could say a word, he got a standing ovation from the 200 ex-Patriots that are there and the entire Gillette Stadium. Just an appreciation for that great season with Tom and what he meant to them. It means to a lot of folks around the league. Does a great job with the ESPN crew on Sundays. So, Randy, we are praying for you and thinking of you, man. Kalani is tackled. That'll be the last play of this one. And the Green Bay Packers will get to double-digit victories with 10. The Seattle Seahawks will fall to 8-6, and it will be a neck-and-neck down the stretch race in the NFC West. 30-13. Green Bay wins, and Minnesota is now in the postseason.
Right, good hang time, good angle, and he'll send it out of bounds inside the 20. Just have to get into field goal range if you're Seattle. So inside the 40 of Minnesota is the target for Geno Smith. What do you know? Another close game involving the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith in yet another of these situations. Did it against the Jets a few weeks ago.
And the 12's right here, hoping Christmas will come early and get them a field goal to extend this football game. The longer these guys hang around, the more momentum they seem to generate, and the more this fan base gets into this football game. Just extend the game as long as you can. Expect coverage from Seattle or from Minnesota.
Trying to go about 45 yards, no timeouts, and a whistle with a flag before the play. Another procedure penalty on the Seahawks.
Ball start. Offense, number 72, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So they'll head 5 yards further back. No runoff. The clock was already stopped. And Lucas with the penalty. Another Seattle false start.
And this might be the first Seattle game in history where they have more false starts than the opposing offense. Are you kidding me?
It's been
that's one of the things here in Seattle. That's a staple.
4 against Seattle today. Only 1 false start against Minnesota. Got to go about 50 yards now to get into field goal range. And Geno Smith wants a choke. Bad throw. Picked off. Ball game. And Theo Jackson, with his first interception of the season, seals win number 13 for the Vikings. And they keep pace with Detroit at the top of the NFC. One of the best takeaway teams in the league does it again.
Well, Geno's upset. He's expecting DK Metcalf to break that route off there. DK kind of oozes out of the top and stays vertical. Kind of quits at the top right there, and Geno's expecting him to jump in front of the safety's face. And that's a timing route all the way, those bench 7 corner routes. That's why you got to come flat underneath those deep defenders. Geno visibly upset.
Well, when you get as many takeaways as the Vikings do, you have to choreograph plenty of those. And yet another interception, yet another takeaway. 30 of them this season for the Minnesota Vikings. The only team with a takeaway in every game this year. They did it against Geno Smith twice today. And at the top of the NFC, 2 Titans right now. A pair of 13-win combatants. The Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. And yet another 1-score win since Kevin O'Connell took over. 31 of them since Mike Zimmer had his final season in Minneapolis and O'Connell took over.
And they're saying, yes, he caught it.
Now, you got to give Adunze a lot of credit. Obviously, Caleb Williams to keep that play alive. But Adunze was almost down to the 20-yard line, had to work way back to come back to give Williams a target.
Meanwhile, the clock is running down like crazy. They still have the 2 timeouts, 38-37. Williams backing up again and fires that one out of bounds. Well, you know, go back to, you don't want to go back if you're a Bears fan to Thanksgiving. You know what I'm talking about right now with the clock. You got the timeouts.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, everybody, you can almost hear the crowd reliving that day.
They sense it.
Yeah, there's him working. He was back to all the way to the 25-yard line. He came all the way back. Williams locates him. He makes a really nice catch to get his arms underneath so the ball couldn't touch the ground. So second time on this series, or this drive, they've been able to come up with great plays by Caleb Williams, improvising, and DJ Moore, and now Rome Odunze, the rookie, coming up with big plays to keep this drive alive.
From here, you'll be looking at a 57-yard field goal, and now Chicago has to take a timeout here. Oh, baby. The crowd knows it. I mean, they're already seeing this clock management was helped to create the coaching change after Thanksgiving. Wild card game coming up. I want to remind you, the weekend of January 11th and 12th. Prime Video will have one of the wild card games for you. First ever playoff game on Prime. So right now you'd be looking, if they don't gain another yard, a 57-yard attempt for Santos to send the game into.
Caleb Williams was worked up there, frustrated. You see,
there I mentioned you cut me off there. I'm glad you
know why I did.
I know. You didn't want me to go there.
No, did not.
2nd and 10 at the 40. Extra pressure. Downfield, spinning. Odunze, no, covered well. Coverage on the play by Reek Woolman. 3rd down and 10 with 26 seconds.
That's one of those you got him beat. You'd love to see that. Not that you want to coach it to always underthrow that ball, that go ball, but that ball goes not only over his outside shoulder, but so far almost out of bounds. If you throw that where he has to work back to it, that's going to be pass interference, because he had him beat by a couple steps. But instead it's out of bounds. Odunze could not work into the defender there.
3rd and 10. Deep drop. Steps up. Fires into no man's land. Nothing happening. Just a bunch of white shirts. So it's 4th down. Kirk, you realized earlier this season, my men, George Hill and Malibu Kelly Hayes, telling me Seattle beat Chicago earlier this year, 6-3.
In a soccer game? Or?
No, Mariners beat the White Sox in Chicago on July 29th. There you go. History repeats.
Oh, man. Did they ever go 6-6 and go to extra innings?
Oh, baby. I've done a couple of those games. 4th down.
I hope you don't get to know another one.
We'll see. Anything can happen here. 4th down and 10.
Second charge, timeout, Seattle.
Now, the Seahawks take their timeout here. So you get a first down, they got to get to the 30. Chicago still has the 1 timeout. So if they can move it a little bit, well, they've got to get the first down here is what it amounts to. So they're eschewing the opportunity to kick what would be a game-tying field goal from 57 out.
This drive, you've seen Caleb Williams and where he can make plays, and you get excited about this guy's playmaking ability. 4th and 5, gets out of there, somehow locates DJ Moore for a first down. The game could be over if he doesn't hit that. How about this one? 3rd and 14, Roma Dunze. So he's making plays. Let's see what he does here.
Got to get 10 or it's good night, Irene. Throws it up in the air, and it is intercepted by Reek Woolen. Didn't matter, interception, incompletion, it was all going to be the same. Pressure was put on by Kobe Bryant, and that's going to take us to the finish line in 11 seconds.
They blitzed him all night. Sometimes he scrambled, made plays. Other times they had success. This time it's, we've seen different outside linebackers and defensive backs pressure. This time it's number 8, closest to you, able to come off that edge. They brought Julian Love, both safeties, Love and Kobe Bryant. Nobody's there to pick up Kobe Bryant. They just brought one too many from that side. Caleb Williams tried to just basically throw it up, get enough on it to try to hope that somebody could come down with it, and the Seahawks get their win.
So that's the way the non-interception streak ends. Got a little backflip in the backfield. So Williams had thrown 353 passes, and then that one gets picked, and of all things, just a prayer at the end of the game.
The ball comes loose, but it was ruled down. Johnson ruled down at the 14-yard line. Clock running.
Let's take a look at the end of it. Breaks 1 tackle. Yeah, that his elbows down before the ball comes out. And there's Geno getting worked on, but interestingly, there was a lot of time that just went off the clock.
Los Angeles.
Now the Rams call timeout, although they did let some time run off the clock. So with 34 seconds remaining, Rams looking to reach the end zone, and a win would give them the 3 seed. If not, they finish 4th, and Tampa Bay would host Washington.
Right. We talked about how they would match up against either Minnesota or the Lions. If they win this game, they're going to be facing the Commanders. Jaden Daniels has been phenomenal. The Commanders defense, I think it will be a challenge for the Commanders defense going against Puka and Cooper Kupp with Kyron Williams running the football. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be exciting, frankly, right? Whoever they go up against, one thing they're not going to be afraid. Sean McVay, he's been there. He's done that. He's going to have his team ready to go.
Our 5th season together. An honor to work with you, as always.
Likewise, Kevin. Pleasure's been all mine. All mine, brother.
3rd down and 8. Garoppolo sets, throws over the middle. It is caught, but shy of the first down. Atwell. Clock running. And now a timeout. Back in week 9, these teams played a thriller. Stafford fires downfield, and it is caught for a touchdown by Robinson. The Rams win it. Same team, same broadcast crew. Stafford to Robinson in overtime. Matthew Stafford on the sidelines today. 4th down and 3. They can pick up a first down without scoring a touchdown. 1 timeout remaining. And now a timeout taken by Seattle. We saw most of our crew earlier. Unbelievable season for our entire gang, led by producer Fran Morrison, director Brian Lilly, associate director Caden Pfeiffer. Evan Pettengill joining us today as one of our broadcast associates. And here in the booth, Dave Corris, Ben Poma. And in his first season, great job, Tenard Davis.
And it's been a fun time, never a dull moment. We always meet up every Friday, sometimes Saturdays, most times we grab dinner together. I mean, it's just been so much fun. And we talked about how the season started. It's just awesome how it's ending, and seeing the Rams on a positive note, the NFC North. It's just been phenomenal, man. It's been great football all season long.
Coming right down to the wire. Week 18. 4th down and 3 for Garoppolo and the Rams. Garoppolo looking. Throws underneath. Incomplete.
Man, that was the one time Garoppolo let the ball just get away from him. He threw it a little too low. I love what he was trying to do. He had Whittington. He just a little too low for him. He couldn't come up with the catch. And kudos to Seattle Seahawks. They battled all game long. Garoppolo, the Rams, even with the backups in, they responded. Great energy today. It was just a great battle.
And for head coach Mike Macdonald, he will become the first Seahawks coach in franchise history to win 10 games in his first season. And Seattle will match their best ever road record at 7-1. Away from home, Geno Smith back in, takes a knee. So kudos to the Seahawks, who battled all day long. They finished with the same record as the Rams, same division record, same conference record, same record against common opponents. But due to the strength of victory, it's the Rams heading to the postseason as the head coaches get together, the two Georgia natives. And the Rams will await the result tonight. They will face either Minnesota or Detroit, a 14-win team, here next week. It'll be Tampa Bay and Washington in the wild card. Geno Smith, a happy man. We'll be back after these messages.